The C5X was first announced back in April of 2021, and Citroen's main goal here was to provide a luxurious ride with extensive amounts of comfort and a bold and stylish design that could help it stand out against its main competitors. But let's start with its imposing front end, and therefore it's no surprise to see the return of the V signature shape design, which is obtained when you combine the front daytime running lights with the front LED headlights. And in contrary to what you'd find in some German models where you have a massive grille cluttering the front end here, Citroen instead decided to go with a small air intake that's housed between these two chrome parallel lines that merge seamlessly into the Citroen badge, and there's another larger one towards the bottom. But if we move over to the side, this is where we start to see that blend of shapes and attributes that's designated by the X on the C5's model name. And if you're getting the impression that this is a longish car, well, it is. At 4,805 millimeters, the C5X is longer than a majority of large SUVs. Width is 1,865 millimeters and height is 1,465 millimeters. When it comes to alloys, they only come in 19 inches in size. However, they do have a couple of different designs depending on which trim level you go for. Wing mirrors are heated, automatically folding, and come with integrated indicators as standard. Overall, I think Citroen has done a great job when it comes to the design of this rear end, making it uncomplicated yet bold and distinctive. Boot space, however, does depend on which variant you go for. So petrol-only versions give you 545 litres of boot capacity, whilst this plug-in hybrid version gives you 486 litres of boot capacity. There's also a couple of anchor points to tie objects down, a 12-volt socket, a light, a side pocket, some underfloor boot space, and also a ski latch so that you can slide in those longer objects without having to fold down the rear seats. But if you do need to fold those seats down, you can do that via the back here using these side handles, and that will reward you with 1,640 litres of extended boot capacity for the petrol version and 1,580 litres of boot capacity for this plug-in hybrid version. But having said that, the boot space on offer with the C5X is more than enough for the everyday driver. And since we are on the topic of drivers, let's find out who's joining us today behind the wheel. Obviously, drivability when it comes to this car depends on which variant you go for, because you can configure it to be with a petrol engine only, or you can configure this plug-in hybrid version. And there's a combination of a 1.6 litre petrol engine here with an 81.2 kilowatt electric motor, and that's mated to a 12.4 kilowatt hour battery. So you do get electric only range, and there's an electric only drive mode, which is really good to see. My question for you is, compared to your ID3 where it's fully electric, are you finding any immediate differences?
You can hear it, only a little bit, more so when you start it up, but I don't think that's a bad thing. It's actually quite reassuring when you hear an engine. But I don't know, I thought the ID3 was quite smooth, but this just seems to be really smooth.
So like most hybrid and electric cars, here you have an 8-speed automatic transmission. With the V6, we've noticed that sometimes the gears would hold on for too long, but Kia also incorporated paddle shifters so that you can override those gear changes. Citroen has done the same thing here, so you've got an 8-speed auto, but you've got paddle shifters. Are you finding yourself using them, or are you finding the car to actually respond quite well?
The car responds really well. I haven't had to use them at all. And you can't feel it changing either. Whereas with the others, you could feel that.
Another great feature that our range-topping Shine Plus trim has is heated and ventilated front seats.
I didn't realise mine was on until you said. And I always thought like a ventilated seat would make you feel cold. But it doesn't. It's not made me feel cold. I'm at a good temperature. I've not got the aircon blasting in my face like you said. And it just makes the whole experience way more comfortable.
And you do get also your rear view camera, and with the Shine Plus you get a 360 view as well, so you can get like a bird's eye view as well. So it really lets you judge precisely the space you've got available to you. We touched upon sound when we first got in the car. You're saying that it's nice and reassuring to hear an engine working. But how are you finding the overall noise levels and vibration?
And there hardly is any. There's no vibration. Even when I said about the engine, it was just to start. Now you can't really hear it. It's a really quiet car.
Obviously, we talked before about electric cars and the range anxiety that people tend to have before purchasing one. maybe a car like this will be a good in-between car, just because you get around 36 miles of electric-only range. And when it comes to charging it, if you have a wall adapter like you do, you could charge it in under 2 hours. And if you've got free pin plug, you can do it in just under 8 hours. What are your final thoughts on this car?
I didn't think I was going to like it, but I actually really do. It surprised me. I think people get bogged down by the badge, and actually the last few Citroens I've driven are brilliant. Like I couldn't fault them. My favourite thing about this car is the fact it is so smooth, and it just feels effortless to drive. So yeah, I would definitely go for one of these.
To me, the interior on these new Citroen models I've reviewed recently, it's where it's at. The variety, quality, comfort, design are just something I'm yet to experience in another car. These advanced comfort seats are wider and plushier than what you'd find in rivals at the same price point, but they do come upholstered in different materials depending on which trim level you go for. The steering wheel is wrapped in this lovely and grippy grained leather, and behind it there's a 7-inch driver's display. But in my opinion, the star of the show is the colored heads-up display, because to me there's no better way to access your driving information whilst on the go, because it projects it onto the road ahead, therefore meaning that you don't need to take your eyes off of it. Complementing that, we have a 12-inch touchscreen infotainment display, and that comes equipped with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, Bluetooth, DAB radio, satellite navigation, smartphone integration, amongst many other features. Underneath it, you have a couple of air vents that are framed in this lovely chrome finish. From there, you have a USB-C port, a 12-volt socket. You then have a couple of cup holders, perfect for a smaller bottle. You have your gear selector, drive mode selector, electronic parking brake, a small cubby, perfect for your keys, and a center compartment, which is decently sized and also houses another USB-C port. So overall, I think space on offer, comfort and practicality are things that I really can't fault inside the C5X's front cabin. And I really can't fault this rear space either. Headroom, I've got plenty of. Legroom, I'm miles away from the front seat. And when it comes to practicality, you have a couple of netted pockets on the back of the seats, a couple of USB-C ports, a small cubby in the center here. You also got another small cubby on top of the door handles here. You have an okay-ish sized door bin. And if you fold this middle armrest, you are rewarded with a couple of cup holders and a smartphone holder. Plus, this middle seat also gives you okay-ish amounts of headroom, and the central tunnel isn't too big either. So I actually don't know what else I can say about this interior space apart from the fact that I'm really impressed with what Citroen has managed to achieve here. Citroen has aimed for a comfortable ride, and they've achieved it. They aimed for a premium and luxurious feel to its interior, and they've achieved it. And they also aimed to blend seamlessly the best attributes of a variety of different cars. And guess what? They've achieved it. When it comes to my personal nitpicks, I did experience a substantial amount of body lean, especially when sitting at the back. The view out of the back window is quite narrow, and when it comes to the electric-only range, it could be slightly improved. But then again, those are minor nitpicks and definitely not deal breakers, and I would happily compromise and get this vehicle simply because it merges together specific attributes that other manufacturers got right into a nice and stylish package. And if you'd like to get such a package delivered to your front door, then do give us a call on 01903 538 835, and our vehicle specialist will be more than happy to take the burden of vehicle hunting off of your shoulders and find you a car that meets your needs and wants perfectly. If you don't have time to talk right now, then do click on a pop-up banner above to book a call back at a date and time that meets your schedule nicely. And if you want to browse our current offers on the C5X and other Citroen models, then do visit our website. But that's it. If you enjoyed this review and found it helpful in any way, then do give it a thumbs up to help push it to more viewers like yourself. And if you enjoy the car content we produce, then do consider subscribing to the channel to help us reach that milestone of 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year and join our amazing community of car enthusiasts. And if you're already subscribed, then do click on a notification bell to be notified when our next review goes live. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. Take care and safe driving.